Well, last night, yesterday afternoon, excuse me, we're not, there's no East Coast teams involved in this playoff matchup. So we get all the crappy spots until Sunday night.
Oh,
So
Central Time Zone inferiority complex.
yes, very much so. 1 o'clock today. Ooh, prime
Ugh.
time. Luckily, I'm not working today, but I didn't mind working during yesterday's game
Boy.
because Lance Lynn, who throws primarily fastballs against a fastball hitting team, got meleeed pretty much. Missed his spots. Specifically, I watched a lot of the key hits in replay. The ball that made it 3-0 into the gap was fatty over just under the letter 94-mile-an-hour fastball, which every batter on Houston is going to crush. That's what they do. They're the best fastball hitting team in baseball, which leads to why Lance Lynn, since 2018, after yesterday's game, has a 6.63 ERA against the Houston Astros.
It's funny. I never heard any of those stats going into the game, but as soon as the game started, I heard all sorts of those
Oh,
little
I knew.
idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, I knew the Lance Lynn stats going into the game. On the
Mm.
flip side of that, you see the McCullers stats against this current White Sox roster, and they're the yin to that yang, where he has pretty much this young White Sox team has just dominated the hitters time and time again, including this year where he did better on the road at the rate than he did in his one home appearance against the White Sox. So what could be the logic in this game one? Some people are like, why didn't Giolito start versus Lance Lynn, knowing the odds are stacked against Lance Lynn? I think I saw some other notes that the home plate ump. I don't know if you saw this one. The home plate ump is not favorable towards Lance Lynn on
He
giving
hates
him.
Lance Lynn. I forgot about this.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. This
Well,
is a
every umpire. I mean, your thesis this whole
no,
season
this
is
is
that
not
every
mine.
umpire hates the
I,
White Sox. So I'm not
I
surprised.
saw someone tweet this out that he doesn't give favorable calls to Lance Lynn. You know, like that outside corner call that isn't a strike that
So
you
Lance Lynn
again.
specifically, or pitchers like Lance Lynn?
Probably pitchers like Lance Lynn, but if you're looking at Lance Lynn and this ump,
The prism
the prism, the
of White
microscopic.
Sox bias.
Yeah. So anyway, I saw that too, which I just dismissed actually. Because Lance Lynn again has not fared well against the Astros. This particular sort of Astros lineup from 2018 for the last 3 years. So,
Right.
um,
So why Tony start him? What the fuck's going on?
well, because I think you have to start Lance Lynn in this series. It's unavoidable.
Oh, at some
And
point.
you have to start him at some point. So why not start him in the game you're most likely to lose anyway, because McCullers has dominated your lineup?
Wow. Wow, that is a defeatist attitude right there.
Because if Lynn hits all of his spots, which is his entire game is control. And he didn't have his best control last night.
No, he did not.
So you get going forward, and I don't know what Dusty's going to do in game 4 after they lose the next two. But the matchups,
all right,
pitching.
You're already looking at game 4, so that's a classic Dusty / Lou Piniella mistake to look ahead to game 4 before you've won one game in the series.
No, I don't know what he's going to do in game 4. What I'm saying is the next two pitching matchups are extremely favorable to the White Sox.
All right.
You've got Valdez, whose OPS against the White Sox this season is 775 with a TOPS plus of 141. What does a TOPS account for? It accounts for his normal OPS versus other opponents. So the White Sox overperform everyone else he's ever faced.
That's today's starter?
That's today's starter. In game 3, and you got Lucas Giolito on the mound, who, the reason it's super favorable, features a wipeout changeup, which they are not an off-speed hitting team. They've not even seen Giolito yet this year. So I think Tony was playing the the
Playing possum.
let's get some Mo.
Get him overconfident
Let's
with a
get
game
some.
1 win.
Well, I mean, 2011. St. Louis lost 5-0. Everyone was gloom and doom.
I mean, you made fun of me for referencing 1984. So how far back can we go before
Well,
things are
19.
irrelevant?
I don't know.
10 years, is that relevant?
I'm gonna do some quick math. I mean, 84 is 30 some years
No, I'm
ago.
asking, where's the cutoff line? 10
No,
years
I'm just
is the
saying.
relevant line?
Well, this is relevant because this manager's actually managing in the playoffs, where the Tigers and Cubs aren't even in the playoffs. But
Yeah, nice
okay,
jab, but that's
yeah.
irrelevant too. But
Is
thanks.
it though? I don't think so. But anyway, moving
Of course you
on.
don't. I mean,
So,
that's fucking stupid. But go ahead.
moving on.
Yes.
So, we know what happened in the end in 2011. The Cardinals won the World Series. But
moving on.
Game 3, you get Dylan Cease back at home, who's dominant at home, 6-2 compared to 7-5 on the road, 3.18 ERA at home versus a 4.69 ERA on the road. So there's no reason well, maybe it should have been Giolito and Cease in Houston. No, it shouldn't have been. You don't want to pitch Cease on the road in this series. The flip side of that is Luis Garcia. That should be the Game 3 starter for Houston. ERA is almost 2 points higher on the road. His ERA is 2.39 at home and 4.24 on the road. So, the next 2 games favor the White Sox. And you get today's game, you flip home field advantage, you pitch Rodon in Game 4, who dominated Houston earlier in the year, but he also was throwing a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, which in his last outing we know didn't get above 91, I believe, or 90.
I think it was 91.
Yeah, 91. But he still pitched 5 very solid innings. But again, that was that Tigers? But I mean, we all know the Tigers are a much better team than they were at the beginning of the season, but it's still not Houston right now, despite the Tigers trending way up. But yeah, so I think the next two matchups favor the White Sox. The question is, would Dusty in desperation turn back to McCullers on 3 days rest, who's never pitched on 3 days rest before, if it goes 2-1 White Sox? And we all know most likely he probably would, because he mismanages a pitching staff like nobody's business. The other positive,
I've definitely seen it before.
One positive side from yesterday's game was Graveman threw almost 30 pitches in a game he probably shouldn't have even pitched in. And then Presley, the closer, came in and had to toss 21 pitches. So now the White Sox have kind of they've seen their stuff this year, but now they've seen their stuff again, fresh in their mind. They got something, and AJ Przinsky pointed it out. He's like, every pitch a pitcher throws in this series plays a later role in that series. And he's like the one, he's the one who put the thought in my head. Is like one of the positives the Sox got out of this was Graveman threw 30 pitches, Presley threw 21. They've seen them now. They know they've got an idea of their stuff, and now they've already been used in a game that they probably shouldn't have even been used in.
Yeah,
so
strange. And Presley looked really uncomfortable on the mound. He was slipping on his plant foot, and
yeah,
it's what's going on here? So yeah, that was strange to bring those guys in, and they were up 5 runs that whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't get that at all. But that's Dusty. I mean, when in doubt, that something ridiculous could be decided by Dusty Baker in a playoff series. So the only stat that I have for you is saw this morning. The combined ages of the managers is 149 years. That just made me laugh. Oh my god!
Oh, that is great. I mean, those two hate each other too.
That's the beauty of it. There's a book about that. 3 Nights in August. I mean,
yeah. Did you didn't happen to tune into Waddle and Sylvie pregame yesterday? No. Did you? Well, the White Sox were waiting to see how Abreu was from his flu-like symptoms to see if he could play. So they turned the lineup in very late, and it was hilarious. They kept saying, La Russa's really just doing it just to fuck with Baker. Baker's throwing shit in the office right now.
Ringing his wristbands.
That son of a bitch. Chewing on that toothpick. Is he ever gonna give us their lineup? But not that it really mattered in the end.
I was watching the game with my mom, and she even asked, why is Dusty Baker wearing gloves?"
Yeah, that
Like
I don't know. Is that a
I don't
safety
know.
issue now?
Well, I thought maybe it was a COVID, maybe
Yeah,
protocol
yeah.
or something, and then they right as I was saying that, they flipped to the clip where he was drinking beer out of a shoe when they were
No, that's
celebrating
not
their
a. Yeah, that's right.
um,
That's not a COVID.
yeah, I'm wondering if he's not worried about COVID, if he's drinking beer out of a shoe, shooting the boot.
Shooting the boot. Shoot
So
the boot.
he's
Shoot
got my
the
mind
boot.
turned into a pretzel. I'm not sure what his strategy is there, but yeah. So your thesis is solid as long as you win the game this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It all hinges
That
because you go back to Houston. Let's just say it goes 5 games. That's I don't think they win the series. The White Sox. I don't think they win a game 5 because that's McCullers for sure. That's.
yeah.
But the other thing is, let's just push it out to game 5. I think the Sox bring back Giolito. I don't think Lynn pitches again in the series.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, the
But
matchup
just his,
is just bad. And we
yeah,
just saw it yesterday again. So
yeah.
that's why it's a little perplexing.
Lynn. It's kind of crazy, but like it's his one team that just he can't get over the hump, no matter who he's pitched for against them. So
Yeah. And he's got a long history, pitching in the division with the Rangers.
yeah,
So against the Astros. So yeah, it's out there. It's a interesting decision that will be mulled over for years to come.
yeah, could be mulled over next week after a series loss on this very show if that should happen. So
episode 85.
episode 85. Tune in.
Tune in next week.